we are. Okay, give me just a second. I'm getting everything set up here. Perfect. Okay. All right. This is going to be fairly impromptu, and I will wait a little bit until anybody who wants to shows up. But yeah. Oh, look at that. Even my video quality is better. I finally switched over to 4K. Hey, Jared. And Jaden's here. Sweet. All right. I have not done a Greatbassoon update video in some time. I took a look, and the last time I did it was a few days before Christmas. So it's been a bit, a little over 4 months. And, well, things have happened in those 4 months. And so we'll kind of go over everything. So I've got the Greatbassoon here. Bell's not on. I'll put the bell on here in a minute. But so the first thing I probably should talk about is what happened in January. So the Greatbassoon took, in its current form, took its first trip. Now I've traveled with it once before to Richard Bobo's up in Arkansas, and well, this is where I went again, to his place in Arkansas, and I went up there for the premiere performance of the Subcontrabassoon. And I took the Greatbassoon with me to have him try out some stuff, and also to have my friend Rufus Acosta, who's going to come in, try it out. And Rufus is responsible for making the vocals for it, so it'll be his first chance to see it. And so we get there, and after the performance done, we head back to Richard's place, and we bring out the Greatbassoon for everybody to try, and it doesn't work, and something's wrong. I can't get any notes out. Lo and behold, sometime during the day I'm there, a break in the instrument happens. Pretty catastrophic break. In fact, it's on this joint. This is the old joint. And, well, as you can see, there should be a tenon right here. And there isn't. So the tenon just split completely off. Nothing was holding it together anymore, and so I couldn't play anything really below open F. And it took a while, and Jared can comment on this because he and I brainstormed a bunch on what exactly happened. So we took a look. I got out my calipers. I started measuring things, and there was a problem. The tenon, at the thinnest point, I think we determined it was only like 1.6 millimeters thin. That's stupid. You cannot have a tenon that thin, especially made out of FDM plastic. It's not going to work. So there was a lot of back and forth on exactly what we're going to do. Is it going to be one of those things we have to completely redesign everything to make the tenon bigger, which would mean just thickening all the walls throughout the instrument, or just thickening part of it through the wing joint, or was there another way we could do things? And we ended up settling on the position we're just going to thicken the tenon itself. And we looked at it, and we looked at the other tenons and realized it was too thin, and we could thicken it. And I think we thickened it over a millimeter, which does not sound like a lot, but it basically made the whole thing 60-70% thicker than it was. And that's a huge improvement. And so far, I have not had any issue with that tenon. So that is a good thing. But that probably took, what would you say, Jared? Maybe a month or so of brainstorming back and forth on exactly how we were going to tackle the issue. Because I say in it, we really had a lot of brainstorming we had to do there. But we ended up getting it done. And so did that, and I got everything printed and started working. And I started working on the bell joint, the bass joint. So let me go ahead and get the Greatbassoon in picture now, and I'm going to go ahead and put the bell on. I usually don't have the Greatbassoon in this room. Okay. So, started working on the bell joint. The bell, heck, let's just take the bell off. Because, you know, reasons. The bell right now is pretty much completely done. I even, if you look closely, there are pads on here. There are pads. I've got some felt. Everything is good. In fact, I'd like to actually show you a little design that I've got on here. On these keys here, this is a ball bearing roller. I've got that on both the B flat and the A keys here. And that is to make the motion as smooth as possible. So anytime I have a transfer of motion, basically where you got a 45, there's never going to be a perfect frictionless surface. But with a nice little ball bearing roller, I can get rid of that. And so far it's working pretty well. It takes a little bit of, you know, finesse to get it on there. And I've got on this joint alone 1, 2, 3 rollers. So you can actually see the whole mechanism working here. Yes, Jared, it is clicky. You are correct. I only have one cork on here, and it's just the cork, or it's actually a piece of neoprene foam on here, actually, just right here. I really just need another thin, like 16th inch, maybe smaller piece of cork underneath this little bridge key right here, and that will quiet everything down. But we got that on there. Now, the bass joint, and I'm going to leave that off for now just because it makes everything a little unwieldy. The bass joint presented an issue. So, the low C key turned out to be a problem. This is the low C key here. I've got the low D and the low C on it at the moment. I don't have the B or B flat. They're coming. I got to get more brass stock for that. It turned out in its original iteration, it was a one-piece key. And where the pivot was too close to the touch piece, which meant that that key in particular was just incredibly difficult to depress. In fact, I'm going to get up right close here. Here's the touch piece. The original pivot point was this here, and it was going to pivot off of the post here. And you can see I've only got maybe a finger's width here. What we've done on this iteration is split it into two, and so there's now two posts here. It's a two-piece key, just like the low C. And now I've got it to where the low C and the low D are interlocked. And so I can press one and they both go down. And that took quite a bit of finagling to get them. You know what? Let's do this. And, ow, bright. And turn that down because we want to actually get some light on here. Okay, better. I forgot I was looking right into a ring light. Okay, and I want to show you the low D and C keys right now. Yes, they are leaf engraved. The D key is pretty polished right now. The C key is not. The C key has had to have a lot of soldering and resoldering. But yeah, they both have a similar pattern, and I just kind of wanted to experiment with that to see what could happen with doing some engraving there. And then one other thing to look at, yes, it is kind of similar to the Dryad's Touch, and that's kind of where I got the idea from. And I may just do that throughout the whole instrument. Why not? It's going to be extra. I mean, we're dealing with a nearly 7-foot tall bassoon. We can go a little extra. Okay, so I have taken off the small bass joint here. The small bass joint is just a split part of the bass joint in order to make this instrument fit into a case a little bit better. And what I'm going to show you now is everything is sprung. And I've also got a pad on the low B key. Listen to that pop. The springs are a little bit non-traditional. I'm going to bring this music stand forward because I'm tired of having to sit at the edge of the chair. There, that's going to be a little bit better. What I've done on the springs, we'll see if I can show you here. Yeah, what's a better way to do this? Okay. So the spring is actually attached. We'll look at this key here. It's attached here, and it goes up against the post here. So the spring is attached to the key itself and not to the post. Because we're using integrated plastic posts, I didn't want to have to drill into those posts to put in the spring, so that we're reliant on a post that's that thin. It is something that you'll see done on buffet clarinets, but I've never seen it done in the bassoon world. So, and in theory it works, but so far everything on here is working quite well. And just in the last few days I put the springs on. All the springs are now on this joint. So this is the B flat lever, this is the B key, and then I've got the low A lever. And yes, everything is still pretty loud. I've got to go and quiet everything with felts and whatnot. But it's on there. In fact, the majority of the low A mechanism is complete. The only thing that it is lacking is the actual touch piece. And surprisingly, everything on it is a very minimal touch. So, I'm going to raise this up just a little bit so you can see here. And this right here is... what's going on? Why is that? Ah, that's right. Something's gone wrong here. Okay. Don't you hate it when something goes wrong? The low A key is for the pinky, yes. That is utterly bizarre. Oh, I see what's going on. There's the problem. So lining up the small bass joint and the big bass joint has actually been kind of a challenge. So, looks like I've got some work to do here because this is flexing awfully much. So I love discovering flaws on a live stream. That's Great. I was probably going to remake that anyway, so yay. Okay, I'll get that figured out later. Okay. There are um, a few bassoons out there that I've seen with a low A key. It's basically connected to, it just bridges over the low B and B flat. It's not, you don't need another thumb key for bassoon. You really don't. There. Man, 1 millimeter turn. Okay, so yeah, now I've got the low A key working. So that's going to be something I'm definitely going to have to look at. Is the gentleman's bass joint, the small bass joint, is going to have to be aligned absolutely properly, but it works. It works. I am going to have to redo all of the octave vent keys simply to raise them up to be more in line with the low note keys. So that's going to take a while. But I think that there's a chance I could finish at least the lower wing joint. Oh, wait, no, I'm missing a piece. But if I had the piece I needed, I could finish the lower wing joint in a few days' time. Maybe I'll work on it tomorrow because I've got a day off. But so that's kind of been the update on the Great Bassoon. The next big task, I will make some keys tomorrow. I'll work on the wing joint keys. I'd have to order some more brass rod stock for making keys, but the next thing is working on the boot joint. And the boot joint is going to take a long time. It's going to be pretty complicated. But the design for from the boot up, so the wing joint, the base, and the bell, that is all done. It is done. It's good. We like it. We're still not quite to a good playing condition yet because I've got to get things more or less working on the wing joint, but we're getting there. So yeah, question time. Let's see what everybody has any questions on. I know Jared and Jaden have been through this a lot of the way. Have you been experiencing the curse of green hands? Sometimes. I mean, yeah, my hands get dirty. Mostly, just get a little greasy. But I mean, it's working with brass. That's just expected for the course. But yeah, mostly I just end up burning my fingertips on nearly molten brass because I'm an idiot and try and pick up stuff that's still hot off after brazing. Because reasons. Yeah, that does hurt a little. The fingers heal quickly. But so far, I'm really pretty happy with everything on it. Anybody else have any other questions? I know there's always a little lag. At some point, I am probably going to need to work on some redesign, and I may see if I can meet up with some local DFW reed makers and see what we can do with just getting reeds made. Because I'm not a great reed maker. I used to be more into it, but I don't make a lot anymore. Getting a good reed that'll respond well will be a big plus. But if there are no more questions, I may just sign off for the night and call it a night. Yeah, just the touch pieces for those. The vents are all in the right place, but the touch pieces. In fact, let me see if I can show you here. I hate that I don't have any string on that part. Okay. This is going to be really hard to see, but the touch pieces are the octave keys right now are here, and the low D and C keys are there, and they're probably a good centimeter lower than the low D and C keys. Ideally, they should be a centimeter higher, just so I can reach over there and hit it. So yeah, the octave keys should be on a higher plane than the low note keys, but they're not. They're on a lower plane, and that's because I made them first instead of the other ones first. So that is my stupid. And I'm hoping it's not going to take too much to rebuild those. Just unsolder, resolder. But I know it's going to be more complicated than that. So we'll see. Actually, that part, that might... Okay, there's something I just noticed that... No. I'm just... congrats so far. I've been watching. Yeah, it's a fun project. So anyway, guys, I think I am gonna call it a night. I am gonna go turn my air conditioning on because it's been off all day and it's getting hot here in Texas. So all right, I will see you all later.